The Celtics defeated the Brooklyn Nets, and the takeaway is, well, they're supposed to beat the Brooklyn Nets. Here's the real takeaway. They're bailing us out of Thursday Night Football. We don't actually have to watch Thursday Night Football now because the Warriors play the Celtics on Thursday.
That's correct.
And that's going to be not exactly the easiest game to extend to a 14-game win streak. Regardless, now at this point, if he doesn't translate it into the playoff success, and last year they were an Eastern Conference Finals team, so there's definitely some success. But
great success.
The expectation has to be that Brad Stevens is the coach of the year. You don't need more of a sample size. And it truly pays to have somebody who's young and creative. Like for every Brad Stevens, the same as Sean McVay in the NFL. For every Sean McVay, there's 1,000 coaches who think they can be Sean McVay. For every Brad Stevens, there's 1,000 coaches who think they can be Brad Stevens. The most amazing thing I thought from last night's game in itself was Matt Moore's take from CBS. Marcus Smart is one of the 10 worst shooters in the league. And Marcus Smart, he is statistically.
He doesn't know it though.
Statistically, he's one of the 10 worst shooters in the league. However, the Celtics' offensive rating and team field goal percentage is higher when he is on the floor. In the absence of Kyrie Irving the 3 games ago, and even with both of them sharing the floor or when they're running like that second unit, he's also playing without Horford so well. Here's what I can't figure out. Matt Moore puts together this whole thing of like Kyle Lowry really defending Marcus Smart. Like he's afraid of Marcus Smart's jumper. Like other players, not just Kyle Lowry. In last night's game, for example, 3 Nets would swarm around Marcus Smart, who finishes 5th worst, I think, in the league at the rim. It's like 5th worst in the league at the rim. So you can give him the open layup every time. He might miss it. So what I don't get is at this point, how are you allowing Marcus Smart to do that? Like no one respects Rajon Rondo or Ricky Rubio's jumper, right? And because of that,
Ricky Strom's jumper.
And because of that, they don't play to that way. However, Marcus Smart has everybody shockingly fooled. At the same time, here's what makes Marcus Smart so special. His passing is so good, especially with Al Horford. And don't get me wrong, Kyrie and Al Horford are playing as like as right now the best duo in the league is Kyrie and is Steph and KD, and then it's Kyrie and Al Horford. Like how they're playing over this 13-game win streak is remarkable. And Al Horford's, like I've always used the word, as Andre's always used the word, portability. Al Horford's playing the best basketball of his life. Kyrie Irving is only magnifying that. But don't sell Marcus Smart short in his role, because we always know defensively he's one of the best.
Selling him short. He's a role player. He's a role player and a defensive player.
No, he's not a role player. That is wrong. He's not a role player. He's so important to the Celtics that he's become bigger than a role player. His importance to the Celtics is like that of Draymond Green's to the Warriors. He is another person on the Celtics team that makes everything move, that everybody is better when Marcus Smart is on the floor, like when Draymond Green did. He is calling him a role player is selling him short. He is better than that.
I disagree.
Now, it wouldn't work the same on any other team. This is a product of Brad Stevens. This is why he's made him into this great player. The same as Draymond Green wouldn't be the same as any other team as he is under Steve Kerr's system with that Warriors.
So, okay, first off, we'll get to that in a second. The numbers here are dreadful.
For his shooting, they're terrible. But look at all the team numbers.
So, individually.
Yes.
You want to take a guess at his 3-point percentage?
It's like 20%.
29.
Yeah, it's terrible. He's a terrible shooter.
His 2-point percentage, you want to take a guess?
It is probably 33%.
29.
Yeah.
From 3 to 10 feet, you want to take a guess?
3 to 10 feet, he's probably under 20%.
19.2.
Yep.
16 feet to the 3-point line?
25%. What is it? Just go.
12.5.
12.5. Yeah.
Not a good shooter.
Okay, but here's the thing.
So
when he's on the floor, the team shoots better. Everybody shoots better when he's on the floor.
Yes, because he is doing things to affect the game where his shooting does not have to be magnified, and it's going to be less magnified when they not only get to the playoffs but succeed in the playoffs because, catchword, he knows his role.
Yes.
He is trying to muck it up. He's trying to get under the opponent's skin. He's trying to play a little bit dirty here and there. He reminds me a lot of when Ron Artest would go crazy. Like I would not be surprised if we saw on the baseline someone's trying to run like a Rip Hamilton screen and he just pulls down someone's shorts. Like Ron Artest did on Paul Pierce. Like it would be fun. You could see it, right? It would not shock me. So Yeah, I think he knows his role, but as important as he is, I think we have different subjective definitions of role player. Like, I don't view him as the most important. I don't view him as the second most important to this team.
It's the third most important player to the team.
That's
so better than a role player. I think right. That makes him better than a role player.
So give me an example of a modern day role player.
A modern day role player. I'm trying to think of a good example because now there's so many forms of a big three. Like, everything's a big three or a big four, right? Like, when you look at it, like when you call Kevin Love a role player, he plays his role on the Cavs, so by your definition, Kevin Love's also a role player.
So I guess what I'm trying to come to
Clint Capella a role player. He plays to his role on the Rockets. He plays to his role, but he's extremely important to the Rockets.
Right. Contradicting myself here, but like everyone sort of plays their role in a way.
Like you have stars and you have superstar players. Like obviously, like star players in the Celtics. When you look at that team,
do you assume role players are bench players?
Andre Iguodala is a role player on the Warriors.
Yes, and a very important.
Dwayne Wade is a role player who's not playing.
I don't know what he is right now.
Like, I mean, what we would hope from Dwayne Wade is he'd be a good role player on the Cavs. It really does depend on the subjective definition.
Is a role player the definition of a role player? Is it just hello? Is a role player the definition just like a good bench player?
I think no, because I think like a role player has like one specific role, right? Like, for example, I'm trying to think of somebody who just rebounds.
Would you call Kyle Korver a role player?
Yeah, 100%. Kyle Korver has one job, and that is to hit the open three-point shot.
One job.
He has one job.
Yeah.
It is to hit the open three-point shot, and that is it. He is not asked to rebound. He's not asked to move the ball with one extra pass. He's not asked to set off ball screens.
Underrated passer.
Because Marcus Smart does literally everything in the game except shoot.
So there's different elements to the role player.
What I'm saying is like the only thing, he's the anti-role player because a lot of players' one job is to shoot. His job is to literally not shoot.
Or like Thabo Sefolosha is defend.
Yeah, to defend or to trick. So I think like in general, role player is somebody who's got one job to either go in there and crash the glass, go in, we just need you to get 25 defensive rebounds, so you go in and get the rebounds.
So it sounds like the role player has one job.
One job.
Where it seems like
because here's
hang on. A non-role player has like 2 to 3 elements of what
because there's a different word for someone who has one job, and what is that word? It's a specialist. There's a fancy word for it. Like Kyle Korver is a specialist. Somebody who's just going into block shots is a block shot specialist. Like what Bismack Biyombo did for the Raptors during the playoff run where he was blocking shots and grabbing rebounds. He was a defensive specialist. So
a role player,
I think
a role player can play offense and defense very well, but he's not important.
What are the jobs of the NBA? We have there's the MVP or the superstar, right? That is the goal, right?
I thought you were going to break down the fundamentals of like shooting, rebounding, passing,
I was going to say like
there's
the MVP that literally everything. You can do literally everything.
So Russell Westbrook,
superstar Russell Westbrook and
or as
Harden,
Neil Funk would
Curry,
say, Russell
Durant,
Westbrook
and LeBron and Kawhi Leonard. Like you have complete takeover control of a game.
Yes.
Then you have, I guess, all-star, which means you're damn good at pretty much everything.
Or if you burst on the scene, you get voted into the game when you're injured, like Jeremy Lin.
True, but I mean all-star in the sense of like deserving all-stars.
Understood. So you're talking all NBA.
Yeah, all NBA. You're an all NBA player, which means if you weren't superstar status, you were still really fucking good. Like at every position, at everything in the game. And then I guess you'd have the role player, which is what fills out most of the rest of the team. Because after that you have specialist, and then after that you have, I was about to say Julie Okafor, which means you just kind of suck and you go to the G League. No,
man, you were railing.
I know, it's just a joke, Jesus.
Chris Middleton, role player?
Chris Middleton is a role player, right? He does more than just shoot. It's almost like you could almost say that, and he defends
if he wants to.
No, he's a role player. So I guess a role player does have his multiple. If specialist didn't exist, if the term specialist didn't exist, that would have been reserved for role player. So I change everything.
Jamal Crawford,
I agree
role
with
player?
you 100%.
Or like shooting specialist?
He's a microwave, all he does is shoot.
Microwave.
He's a microwave. He can heat up like a microwave. Granted, his role is like a locker room guy, but like he's a specialist. He's a specialist, and he's only like one side of a specialist.
And he is a specialist in eating McDonald's before games.
Does he eat Mickey D's before games? It's pretty awesome.